What's up, guys? Skippy Africanus here, and today, or actually, this script is quite old, but anyways, when I wrote this script, I saw perhaps one of the dumbest articles I have legit ever seen. Like, quite frankly, I've seen some stupid stuff in my time. No surprise, eyebrows, iFunny, legit the dumbest app in existence. And I certainly thought that out of all the shit that I have seen on there, my top picks for, dumbest shit that I've ever seen could not be top. So while grabbing a few pictures of the CX4's bolt for that MP7 video, and going online for him. The reason I didn't take pictures of the CX4 that I obviously own myself is because the bolt was, well, it still is super dirty, and I just didn't feel like touching it. So I went online to go get some pictures of the CX4's bolt for that video. And while doing that, I happened to stumble across this image. Beretta CX4 storm problems you should know about. Now, instantly I was like, huh, that's weird, I mean, I guess if you want to complain about trigger pull being heavy, like, yeah, but I doubt there's enough issues with this thing to write a whole article about it. Like, I myself think I'm at about 5,000, I actually might be at around 6,000 rounds through mine, and the only issues I ever have gotten were magazine related. Like, I mean, it seems if you use the 30 rounders, like, over time, those feed lips get spread out to the point where they struggle holding around. I mean, it's a good reason why this gun should not have used Beretta 92 mags. Fuck using pistol mags in PCCs. But anyways, my curiosity gets to me, and I decide to click on the page, and the first few lines of that fucking page hit me with, like, an instant wave of just flat out fucking cancer. Like, the page says, and I quote, "There are quite a few Beretta CX4 storm problems known to its user. It is known to face frequent jamming issues alongside failure to feed and ejection problems. Some users also complained about issues with the bolt locking prematurely and having magazines fall out." I got one question for the troglodyte that wrote this page for Gun Analyst. Have you ever shot a fucking CX4? Hell, have you ever met a person that has shot a CX4? Like, what fucking problems are you talking about? Quite a few flat out fucking bullshit. And this just isn't me saying this, who, mind you, have put at least 5,000 to 6,000 rounds through this specific carbine. But I've also put a couple hundred through, a few other ones that, like, say, friends would have owned throughout the years. But it's not just me saying this. I have yet to meet one actual CX4 owner complain about this gun. Like, I understand that, a CX4 storm owner, in and of itself is actually quite rare, but again, I've at least met quite a few CX4 storm owners who, throughout the years, have never, ever, in all of that time, not once complained about this gun except for, like, trigger pull or iron sights. The iron sights are very terrible. I just recently tried them out. But those were the only complaints. Aside from that, everyone that I have ever met that owns and shoots these have had absolutely nothing negative to say about them. They don't jam, they don't fail to feed. As far as I'm concerned, they don't do anything this fucking ass article says. Hell, I think the only thing this article said that I kinda agreed on was the magazine release not holding the magazines too well. But why do I say kinda? Well, I say kinda because I'm not trying to load your standard 20 or 30 rounder into the gun and having those ones fall out. That flat out does not happen. Unless you have a piece that is, like, legitimately broken on the gun. Like, as long as you are just loading standard 20 or 30 rounders, or I think there might be a smaller capacity mag, actually. But as long as you are loading your standard magazines, again, assuming there is nothing broken, like actually broken on the gun, they will not fall out. I guess maybe if you have a non-Beretta produced magazine, I'm not really too sure on that. But for the most part, I run the actual Beretta made magazines. They do not fall out. Now, as mentioned, I said kinda, which would, assume that I've had some weird issue, and I most certainly did have a weird issue because I was trying to do something weird. You see, when I got my Storm, I purchased a 50-round drum made by ProMag. Now, this drum does not actually normally fit into the Beretta CX4 Storm. I had to modify both the Storm's lower handle as well as the drum in order to get it to properly fit. So, already, the gun's not designed to take this really heavy 50-round drum. And also, to add to that, it is potentially my fault that it actually didn't work, because I was fiddling with it recently, and I did shave off some more material from the drum to see if I can get better fitting, and I was actually able to get better fitting, so at the end of the day, it was probably my fault, that the drum didn't fit to begin with, but I still gotta test it out. But I mean, even if it doesn't work, you know, at the end of the day, this drum was not really designed to fit in this gun, whereas again, the standard Beretta 20 and 30 rounders are designed to fit in these, and again, the mags stay perfectly snug in the grip and never fall. I mean, the only other complaint on this page that I'm not 100% certain on, but I actually have my suspicions that I have tested it out before unknowingly, but that other complaint has to do with running non-Beretta made mags through this gun. Now, to be fair, taking the Pro Mag drum out of the equation, I've only ever bought Beretta brand stick mags. I've never tried out any of the aftermarket 92 mags. So, you know, maybe they do run terribly in these guns, but, you know, I would think someone who runs a fucking gun page would see this as the fault of the fucking magazine as opposed to the carbine. But I guess mouth breathers need to have jobs too. I mean, like, I've probably run some aftermarket mags in my friend's Storm rifles throughout the years, or maybe the other Storm owners I talked with, you know, ran aftermarket mags. I'm not entirely certain. But again, all that being said, just buy the fucking Beretta brand magazines and you'll be fine. I can most certainly attest that you'll be fine if you're running Beretta brand magazines, and quite honestly, I would assume that the aftermarket magazines work just fine too. And the troglodyte running this page completely made up all the shit they complained about in this article, because again, this article is very, very stupid. So anyways, the last piece of bullshit this page brought up was personally my favorite piece of bullshit they brought up, and that was that these guns are high maintenance and you must ensure that you clean the gun very thoroughly and very frequently. Does this look fucking clean to you? Does that look clean to you? That right there is about 1,000 rounds without even touching a cleaning thing. So one of the first things I tested out when I got this gun was how long could I shoot it without cleaning it before I had like a malfunction, which I'm not gonna lie, part of it was definitely due to laziness. Like, you know, another part of it was genuine curiosity, like, but it did stem from being like lazy and not wanting to clean this gun. In fact, to be honest, with a good portion of my guns, it's already a good test that, you know, if I don't get malfunctions on them, it's a pretty good sign that they don't need to be cleaned as often, because yeah, I get very lazy with that. But anyways, I intentionally you know, went about not cleaning it to see how far it would go before I would get any type of malfunction. At the end I got to around, like, I think 1,500 rounds before I like ended up cleaning it, and 1,500 rounds with no malfunction, and I didn't even stop the test because I got an issue. I just got flat out bored and was like, well, if it goes through this much ammo, that's good enough for me. So it could have very well gone through way more before anything happened. Again, I just was like, you know what? I think I've had enough of this test. I'm actually gonna clean this for once. And to also add to it, I didn't even like thoroughly clean it. Like, for whatever reason, I felt like cleaning the gun, but I didn't feel like, you know, doing a whole on deep clean, even though it really kind of needed it. Like, I basically just did a real quick clean and, you know, didn't do shit like take the bolt apart and all that. I did that somewhere around like the 2,000 round mark. So yeah, once again, the article, I'm just gonna assume they started making stuff up because they didn't like the way these guns look. But once again, the article is very clearly wrong. Unless I have the Superstorm, where mine is like the one made out of special materials, handcrafted and all that, because they knew I would be consistently running it. Like, they knew ahead of time without me telling them, and they gave me the best CX4 known to man. And everyone else got, well, except for my friends and all that, but everyone else for the most part got shit, like the caveman that wrote this article. But anyways, I think that is gonna do it for this short little rant video on the first article ever written by a monkey. I hope y'all enjoyed the video as much as I personally enjoyed making it, and I could not find the name of the person that wrote this article for Gun Analyst, because I would most certainly love to give them props and a shout out for writing perhaps one of the dumbest things I've ever read. But if by magic chance you are said troglodyte that wrote that article and you are watching this video, I have this to say to you.